Okay, so I just sold this PC for $450 that I built in the last video, which means I have now flipped my way to almost $1,500. And this will be the last episode of this series. The goal today is to find a deal and secure the profit in one flip. And over the last few weeks I've saved a couple of listings which could be potential PCs that I could buy. So I reached out to this one PC, or to this one seller that had this PC that had been listed for over a month, and I offered $350 and we met at $390. Now this PC is one of these cases that I've done before where the specs of the PC is actually pretty good except the GPU. And if you saw the last episode, you know I bought a 3080 for a pretty good price, but I didn't get to use it in the last video. So I kind of had the 3080 in mind that I wanted to build a PC around that card. This PC has some pretty good specs except the GPU, so the only thing that I'm really going to change is the GPU. I'm going to add some sleeved cables as I always do, and also the power supply is a 550 watt power supply. I don't think that's enough for a 3080 build, so I also need to change that. Otherwise, this PC is very good. And I thought I would add a air cooler instead of this, but I think I might just keep it. Oh shit. The PC is almost done. I just bought a 750 watt power supply from Be Quiet. That should be enough, but I don't have it until a few days, so until then I actually found another PC, but I think I'm going to make a quick rebuild of it until I get the power supply, so yeah. Okay, so I just bought this PC for $120 and it has some pretty decent specs with a 1060 and an i5, and I'm just going to change the cooler and the case and add some sleeved cables, and then it'll be good. If you've seen the other episodes, you've seen this case before. It's just been staying on my floor ever since I took the components out of this case. So I'm going to use it for this build and make a all black, no RGB. Now I didn't really film as much, I just made a TikTok of this and a YouTube short, but I did get a few clips where I just changed the CPU cooler. Okay, so I just finished this build. I don't know, so this is just supposed to be a kind of quick flip because I bought it so cheap, so I can sell it for almost nothing and still make a profit. I changed this fan to match coolers here and in the front, and I also changed the RAM only because the other RAM had a higher speed than this, and I would rather save the other RAM for a better build. But I mean, it just looks so boring. I don't even think it looks clean. Still better than before in my opinion, so... Okay, I just got this package with a new power supply. And this is a 750 watt by Be Quiet. It is a bronze rated power supply, but I mean it should be enough even though it's only a bronze rated, and I hope it works. I just realized this is a 3 terabyte HDD. And I totally forgot this was in. It already have a 1 terabyte SSD, so I'm just going to take this out and save it for another build. But I mean, it's still pretty cool. So the total cost of the PC was around $920. If I can sell this PC for $1,100, I would have made enough money to complete the ultimate goal. So I just listed it, and while I wait for someone to buy it, I feel like it would be pretty appropriate to just look at how I got here. It all started 6 months ago when I wanted to prove that you could start flipping gaming PCs with no money. So I set myself this goal, that I want to flip my way from $150 to $1,500. So I bought my first PC for $105 and changed the case and added some sleeve cables for $60. And I then sold the PC for $305. And then I bought another PC, which was a pre-built gaming PC, which was the biggest mistake. I tried changing the case, but it just didn't work. So I bought another PC. Now this one I bought for $175, and I changed the case for $45. And I then later sold it for $335. And this might be one of my favorites, just because, just look at it. The white motherboard, when I first bought it, I just knew I had to build a white PC, and it looks beautiful. The third PC I bought for $260. I then put $75 into it, and I sold it for $460. And then I bought a complete PC for $230 that only needed a graphics card. And for the graphics card, I actually took this one out of a whole other PC, and that graphics card kinda cost me $230. And I then sold this PC for $650. Then I got an extremely cheap option for this PC, and I bought it for $105. I then put $65 into it and sold it for $275. I then bought a pretty good PC with some pretty decent specs for $335. I then changed the CPU fan and the graphics card for another $410, and I sold the PC for $845. Then I got this extremely cheap system with a GTX 960, and I bought it for $90, and I used $85 on it, and I later sold it for $230. So not that big of a profit, but at this point I had enough money to buy some more exciting stuff. So instead of the cheap PCs that I've previously built, I invested in something a little more exciting. And this might be my absolute favorite build of this series. I bought this PC for $400 with some very decent specs, and I changed the case and the GPU for $540. And I sold this PC for $1,150. And this just looks awesome. And then I did maybe the most satisfying rebuild that I did in this series, because I think the before looks so bad. I bought it for $360 and changed the case and the GPU again for $450, and I sold it for $975. Then I got this another amazing deal for this PC that I bought for $185. I changed the cooler and I changed the graphics card for another $120, and I sold this one for $460. And now the latest PC that I've built is this one from this video, which I built for $915, and I just sold it for $1,100. Now this marks the $1,500 profit. That was my goal at the very beginning, if you add all the profits out from all the builds. So just want to say thank you for everyone who watched the videos, and now the only thing left is to build my dream gaming PC for this $1,500 budget. So stay tuned for the next video.